graph the equation y equals 5 times the absolute value of x, where x can equal the possible values from -3 to 3. So let's go ahead and do that. So here we know that we have our values for x, and y is going to equal 5 times the absolute value of x. We want to figure out what is that ordered pair before we figure out what the graph is. So we know that x is -3, so this is going to be y, which is equal to 5 times the absolute value of -3. Well, the absolute value measures the distance from that number to 0, and the distance from -3 to 0 is 3. So 5 times 3 is going to give us 15. So therefore, the first order pair is going to be -3, 15. The next value for x is -2, so we're going to say y is equal to 5 times the absolute value of -2. Again, the absolute value measures that number, the distance of that number to 0, which is 2. So therefore, this is going to be 5 times 2, and 5 times 2 is going to give us 10. So therefore, the next order pair is -2, +10. The next value, we have y, which is equal to 5 times the absolute value of -1. And the distance from -1 to 0 is 1, so we have 5 times 1, which is going to equal 5, and therefore this order pair is going to be -1, 5. Okay, next we're going to plug in 0. So the absolute value of 0 is 0, and therefore 5 times 0 is going to give us 0. So the order pair is 0, 0. Next we have y, which is equal to 5 times the absolute value of 1, and the distance from 1 to 0 is 1, so 5 times 1 is going to give us 5, and therefore the order pair is 1, 5. The next one, we're going to take the absolute value of 2, so 5 times the absolute value of 2. The distance from 2 to 0 is 2, so this is going to be 5 times 2, which is going to equal 10. So we have 2, 10. And the last one, we want to plug in the value of 3. So this is going to be 5 times the absolute value of 3. And we have 5 times the absolute value of 3 is 3. And so 5 times 3 is going to give us 15. And therefore that order pair is going to be 3, 15. So let's go ahead and put this answer. So we're going to put this into our values here. So we know that the following. We know that we plugged in -3, we got +15. So let's go ahead and put 15 and then check our answer. That is correct. We plugged in -2 and then we got 10. Okay, we plug in -1. We got 5. And then we plugged in 0 and then we got 0. We plugged in 1 and we end up getting 5. Plugged in the value of 2 and then we got 10. And we plugged in the value of 3 and we got 15 for our output. Okay, now the next question is, they want us to be able to graph and determine which graph is this going to look like. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to go ahead and graph. So let's go ahead and graph this. I'm just going to move this over just a little bit here. And we're going to bring up our graph over here. I'm going to go ahead and graph this and see what this looks like. So the first order pair is -3, 15. So that means we're going to move over 3 units. So 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to go up 15. So there is the first order pair. Okay. The next one is -2. So we're going to move over to the left 2 units and then up 10. So therefore there is the next order pair. Okay, the next one is -1 and 5, so we're going to move over 1 and then up 5. The next ordered pair is 0, 0, so that's right at the origin. The next ordered pair is 1, 5. We're going to move to the right 1 and then up 5. Next one is we're going to move to the right 2 and then up 10. And then we're going to move to the right 3 units and then up 15. So therefore, there is our graph. And whenever we graph an absolute value graph, you always sort of end up getting a V-shaped looking graph. And so therefore, that's going to be the graph. Let's go ahead and check our result. Well, we know it's not A because it's going downward. We know it's not, could be B, could be C. Not sure if it's that. So let's just take a look here. Let's zoom in a little bit more. Okay, so here's 0, 0. This is over 1 and then up 4, because that's 5 and that's 6. This is over 1 and it's up 1, 2, 3, 4. So that didn't work because that's not what our ordered pair is. This is 3 and that's 12, so that's incorrect. So let's take a look at C. So if we take a look at C, we got 0, 0. We go to the right 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Over to your left 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, then we're going to go over 2, and then we should go up 10. We go to the left 2, and then up 10. We go to the right 3, up 15. To the left 3, up 15. So it looks like it's going to be C. Let's check our answer, and there is our result.